Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into a world where, the fundamental act of taking notes, the very foundation of how we document, learn, and, collaborate,
Yeah.
has just fundamentally
It
shifted.
really has.
It's no longer just a manual task,
Ugh.
a pen, a keyboard, or even a basic recording app. It has become this incredibly complex, automated workflow powered by these intelligent AI sidekicks.
And that shift is so profound because it touches on the core cognitive load we all carry every single
Mhm.
day. The central question for today's deep dive, and for all of you trying to maximize your productivity, is this.
Yeah.
Are these powerful AI tools truly saving you time, or are they just changing how you spend that finite time and mental energy?
That distinction saving time versus just shifting the effort around is so critical. And our mission here is to navigate that exact gap.
Mhm.
We've got a really robust stack of sources covering the 2025 AI landscape,
Mm-hmm.
focusing specifically on these dedicated AI note takers.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also looking at the complex user experience that's documented in online communities
Mm-hmm.
and the surprising new economics of the massive large language models that are powering it all.
So, to start, I think we need a clear definition. What exactly is an AI note taker in this new context? At its core, it's a smart virtual assistant.
Right.
It's designed to automatically capture, transcribe, and then summarize your content. And that content could be a live meeting, an academic lecture, or even just a dense internal PDF.
The goal being that you, the user, can just focus on the actual conversation.
Exactly. You get to stay focused entirely on the conversation or the core intellectual task, and you offload that often tedious cognitive administrative burden of documentation onto the machine. These systems join your video calls, or sometimes they integrate silently, and they use advanced natural language processing to turn spoken dialogue or static text into structured, actionable knowledge.
We're seeing a big, a strategic split in the marketplace based on function. It's not a one-size-fits-all product anymore.
Exactly. We have to establish the two main categories we'll explore today because they address fundamentally different user needs. The first is what we're calling the AI meeting assistant.
Okay.
These tools are built for real-time live capture. So think instant, low-latency transcription, really reliable speaker diarization, and highlighting action items as they happen in the conversation. Tools like Lindy and Fireflies are really optimized for this kind of collaborative workflow.
In the second category, what's the other side of that coin?
The second category is the AI learning assistant, or maybe a better term is knowledge synthesizer. These tools prioritize post-facto summarization. They focus on synthesis and deep research on static content.
So not live meetings.
Not live meetings, we're talking YouTube videos, PDFs, articles, or just massive document piles. Tools like NoteGPT and Google's Notebook LM are prime examples of this second, more research-focused approach, where the output is less about action items and more about learning and making connections.
So our deep dive today will provide you, our listener, with a structured roadmap. We'll help you identify the best tool for your specific needs, understand the subtle but, really crucial privacy and consent risks involved when you're recording sensitive conversations.
Which is huge.
Huge. And perhaps most importantly, get a handle on the deep technological innovation that's making all this affordable and even possible. We're moving from the surface-level marketing claims right down into the technical engine room.
Right. If we're going to deploy these AI sidekicks effectively, we really need to understand the fundamental technology stack. It's so much more than just simple audio recording and text conversion.
So what are the foundational building blocks? What are these sophisticated apps actually relying on under the hood?
Well, it all starts with automatic speech recognition, or ASR. This is the core tech that converts spoken words instantly into text. But ASR on its own is, well, it's pretty useless.
It's just a raw data dump.
Exactly. It needs to be paired with advanced natural language processing, NLP, which is the system's ability to understand the content, the context, and the intent of those words. This combination allows them to not just record, but to semantically comprehend your meetings and your documents.
So when you as a user are evaluating these tools, what are the specific advanced AI features you should be actively looking for to make sure you're getting more than just a basic transcript?
The key features really define the quality and the utility. Obviously, there's the baseline of real-time transcription, converting audio instantly so you can stay focused. But the crucial step forward, the real game changer, is speaker recognition.
Which the industry calls diarization.
Diarization, exactly. This identifies and separates speakers clearly, and it dramatically improves transcript accuracy in group discussions by assigning a name or a label, like speaker A or speaker B, to each distinct voice.
Diarization sounds critically important. For you listening, why is knowing who said what so essential, especially in like high stakes or regulated environments?
Oh, it's the difference between a passive historical record and an active, attributable source of truth. Diarization is absolutely essential for compliance in regulated fields.
For example.
Well, think about legal depositions or financial compliance meeting or even complex sales calls where you have to verify who agreed to what and precisely when they agreed to it. In medical consultations, it separates the physician's instructions from the patient's reported symptoms. Our sources indicate that over 40% of organizations now mandate robust diarization just to meet their own internal documentation and regulatory standards.
So it's not just transcription anymore.
No, it is attribution.
And beyond that raw attribution, what other actionable insights are these systems generating from that deep semantic comprehension?
They handle automatic organization and keyword tagging. The NLP layer intelligently sorts, groups, and highlights critical elements like decisions made, action items assigned, key financial terms, or next steps. This means you can scan and organize a summary of a 2-hour meeting in seconds rather than reading a 6,000-word raw transcript.
And then, of course, the summaries themselves.
Of course, the powerful meeting summaries. These generate concise, AI-driven overviews, providing not only key points, but also structured decision logs and assigned action items. It completely eliminates the need to replay the full audio.
And I've seen some tools that go even a step further into measuring the more intangible elements of a conversation, right?
They do by incorporating sentiment analysis. This uses AI to detect the emotional tone and sentiment within discussions. So whether a participant sounds engaged, or maybe doubtful, or highly aligned with the decision. This is highly useful for managers doing performance reviews, or sales teams trying to assess client engagement, or really anyone needing to gauge alignment during a difficult negotiation.
That deeper understanding is where the real value proposition is. But let's focus on diarization for a moment, because getting that right, separating multiple voices, maybe even in a noisy room, sounds incredibly difficult. How do modern systems actually manage that technical feat?
It truly is a complex, a multi-stage pipeline, and it relies on massive neural networks that are trained on diverse global speech patterns. There are 4 critical sequential stages that modern systems use to achieve accurate speaker separation.
Okay, walk us through those 4 stages. What's step 1?
The first stage is voice activity detection, or VAD. This is the initial Kriegel filter. Its job is to accurately strip out silence, background noise, ambient sounds, any non-speech sounds to make sure the system only focuses its computational effort on actual human speech.
So it's smart enough to ignore a phone ringing or a chair scraping.
Absolutely. And modern VAD systems are exceptionally robust. Our sources indicate they can maintain over 90% accuracy in isolating speech, even in extreme acoustic environments. Think a loud conference floor or a busy emergency room, provided they've been trained on diverse, real-world data sets.
That ability to filter noise is a total game changer. So once the relevant speech is isolated, what's the next hurdle?
Next up is segmentation. This stage uses deep learning models to dynamically and precisely detect speaker change points, the exact millisecond when one person stops talking and another begins. The key improvement here is that modern systems have moved way beyond older fixed-time window approaches, which often led to transcripts where speakers were, cut off mid-sentence.
Right, which is so frustrating to read.
It's useless. Precise segmentation ensures the continuity of thought in the transcript.
Okay, so the system knows when a change happened, but how does it figure out who the new speaker is and keep that consistent across the entire meeting?
That leads us to the third and fourth stages, which handle the attribution. Stage 3 is generating what are called speaker embeddings. During this stage, the continuous audio segments are converted into these fixed-length vectors, often called X vectors. These vectors capture the unique biometrics of a person's voice.
The voice's fingerprint, basically.
Exactly. It's the vocal timbre, the pitch, the cadence, even subtle regional or personal idiosyncrasies. State-of-the-art systems train on multilingual corpora that encompass hundreds of thousands of voices to ensure these speaker vectors generalize reliably across different accents and speech patterns.
And then comes the final step of actually assigning the label, host or expert.
That's the final stage, clustering. Sophisticated algorithms, often using spectral clustering techniques, take all those unique voice embeddings and they group them together consistently. So if a voice segment is mathematically close to the host embedding, it gets assigned the label host. This step is crucial for distinguishing those subtle differences between similar sounding voices, which is the final challenge in producing a clean, searchable, and useful transcript.
And the scale of this is just incredible.
It's impressive. Top performing systems today can dynamically track and handle speaker counts ranging from just one person up to 16 people, and they function across 80 or more languages. It makes multinational deployment entirely viable.
That scale is immense, and it really grounds the idea that we are so far past simple audio recording. Now let's talk about user experience friction. Because not all note takers appear the same way in a meeting, which creates a very different dynamic. We've got this clear split between bot-based and bot-free systems.
This user interface choice, it dictates the comfort level and trust within the meeting environment. The bot-based note takers, they join the call as a visible, labeled participant. You'll see something like Otter AI bot or Firefly's note taker in the participant list.
Right, it's like having a silent intern in the room.
A silent, constantly listening intern. And while they efficiently record and generate transcripts on the spot, our sources note that the presence of this silent, constantly recording entity can feel intrusive, it can raise participant anxiety, and it can even lead to people self-censoring or just being less-handed.
Which completely undermines the very collaboration the meeting is supposed to achieve in the first place. So what's the alternative that minimizes that friction?
The alternative is the bot-free note taker. These operate seamlessly in the background, typically through a desktop or mobile application, and they generate transcripts and summaries without needing to join the meeting as a visible participant. Tools like Lindy, Granola, and Crisp all fall into this category. They really minimize the procedural friction that's often caused by managing bot logistics.
And crucially, these systems still have to address the legal requirements, even if they aren't visible, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is the critical point. Whether it's visible or not, they still require explicit recording consent obtained at the start of the session. That's legally required by comprehensive data protection regulations globally, like the GDPR in Europe and the CCPA in California, which govern how data is handled and recorded. The bot-free approach offers a much more natural and less intrusive experience, but consent remains completely non-negotiable.
Okay, so with that strong technical foundation laid, let's move on. Section 2. Mapping the actual landscape of tools. For you, the listener, the real question is which tool best fits your specific workflow? Is it live meeting capture or is it deep content synthesis?
We should start with the meeting assistants, the tools that are optimized for real-time conversation and team workflows.
We have some established leaders here. I know Fireflies.ai is known for its robust AI-powered voice analysis and, its ability to connect with a ton of platforms. But Otter seems to be consistently noted in our sources for its superior, accurate, real-time transcription speed.
It is, and its highly reliable speaker distinction features. That often makes it the preferred choice for large enterprises that just need to minimize post-meeting cleanup and manual edits. The accuracy is key for them.
But while Otter excels at the transcription part, the frontier of innovation seems to be moving toward deep workflow integration and automation.
That's where tools like Lindy really shine. Lindy is best categorized as an end-to-end AI agent. It's focused on eliminating the gap between decision and execution.
Okay, so tell us what that looks like in practice. How does Lindy's automation pipeline actually work, beyond just spitting out a summary?
Well, the whole goal of Lindy is to eliminate what they call note chaos. So imagine you're on a long project update call. Lindy joins, it transcribes the conversation with its reported 99% accuracy. But it doesn't just summarize. It uses its NLP to identify critical semantic triggers.
Like keywords.
More than that. For instance, it hears someone say, "We need to loop back on the budget Friday," or "Sarah will own the final client deck." Lindy automatically extracts these specific action items and deadlines, and then through its integration stack, it automatically generates a task in Asana for Sarah with the deadline Friday, and it'll ping the finance team lead on Slack.
So it's not just a record keeper. It's an active project manager that's being driven by the conversation itself. That level of automation reduces the critical friction point, all that administrative labor that's required right after the meeting ends.
Precisely. That's a powerful 10x productivity gain where the task is fundamentally eliminated, not just summarized. And Lindy also offers something that power users really appreciate: multi-model flexibility.
Meaning you can choose which LLM it uses.
Exactly. The user can choose which frontier model GPT-5, Claude, Gemini, Lindy uses to process the summary and generate the action items. And this is crucial because, as we'll discuss later, some models are better at generating code, while others are just superior for nuanced narrative writing. Lindy allows you to align the agent with the task.
That choice is a strategic asset. What about accessibility and cost for an average user?
Lindy's pricing is also pretty aggressive. They offer a generous free plan that includes 400 monthly credits. For professional users, the paid pro plan is around $49.99 a month.
Okay, moving on, we have Fathom, which has gained a lot of traction, particularly for minimizing risk and setup friction.
Fathom is the ideal choice for individuals, small teams, or really anyone looking to pilot AI note-taking with zero commitment. Its forever free plan is unusually generous for the quality it provides. It records, transcribes, and generates these really structured summaries that clearly section off decisions, next steps, and what they call aha moments.
And it's easy to use.
Very easy, because it offers clean, reliable notes and easy sharing of specific meeting clips, all without a fiddly setup. It's excellent for generating client-ready summaries very quickly. It really democratizes the whole process.
Now, privacy is arguably the highest concern for many, especially when you're handling highly sensitive or proprietary data. That brings us to Granola.
Yes, Granola is the champion of privacy and data sovereignty. It's aimed at users and companies who prioritize local data control above everything else. Its core feature is that it transcribes meeting audio locally on your device, specifically a Mac or an iPhone.
So it never sends the raw audio to the cloud.
Never. This eliminates the need for meeting bots and the cloud storage of raw audio files. For professionals handling highly regulated or sensitive information, removing that cloud dependency risk is a massive security advantage.
That's a fundamental architectural difference processing locally versus trusting a third-party server with your most sensitive conversations.
It shifts control entirely back to the user's endpoint. When sensitive data handling is paramount, this feature really overrides other considerations like price or model flexibility.
Okay, so we've covered the live recording tools optimized for collaboration. But what if your primary source material isn't a meeting? What if it's a stack of dense academic papers or a long lecture series or a deep research project? That leads us directly to the knowledge synthesizers.
And the undisputed leader in pure user volume in the second category is NoteGPT. Our sources describe a genuine NoteGPT mania, with over 40 million users leveraging it as an AI learning assistant.
How does NoteGPT fundamentally differ from the meeting assistants we just talked about?
The key difference is its focus on post-facto content processing. It specifically targets external content, YouTube videos, online articles, and uploaded PDFs. While some tools might try to summarize a video, NoteGPT is really optimized for complex information transformation.
What kind of structured outputs does NoteGPT generate that actually help the learning process?
It excels at generating diverse learning materials. So, beyond quick text summaries, it creates visual mind maps that show the conceptual relationships within a document. It generates highly structured study notes and can even transform dense lecture material into presentation slides instantly. For video content, it's highly capable. It supports unlimited length if subtitles are available, and up to 2 hours of processing even without subtitles.
And I understand it also allows you to, conversationally query the content.
Yes, it has an AI chat feature where you can ask clarification questions about the uploaded content. It essentially turns a static textbook or a lengthy transcript into a responsive conversational partner, which is a massive win for interactive learning.
But what are the necessary caveats? For you listening, what should you watch out for when using such a high-volume tool?
Despite its popularity, there are several caveats. First, accuracy can fluctuate significantly, especially with highly technical jargon, niche subjects, or just poorly transcribed audio. You have to use the integrated timestamps to spot-check nuanced or high-stakes claims.
You can't just trust it blindly.
You can't. Second, while the company makes privacy claims stating adherence to GDPR and CCPA and promising not to use personal data for AI training public, independent audits to verify these claims are often unavailable. That means enterprise privacy compliance remains a matter of trust. And finally, the free quota can be very tight if you're a heavy academic user, which will force an upgrade to a paid tier.
Next up, we have Google's ambitious entry into this research synthesis space, Notebook LM.
NotebookLM is not a general note taker. It's a dedicated deep research partner, and it's powered by the Gemini models. Its specialty is analyzing massive volumes of material, your PDFs, your transcripts, your essays, your reports, and then synthesizing connections across those disparate documents.
So how does it move beyond just a simple summarization to truly aid the research process?
It creates a layer of what you could call synthetic insight. So instead of summarizing document A and document B separately, NotebookLM analyzes them simultaneously, and it surfaces complex questions that you might not have even thought to ask.
Like what?
For example, what methodologies overlap between these two seemingly unrelated studies? Or what inherent conflict exists between the core assumptions in source 1 and source 3? It helps you connect the dots in complex data without losing the context of the source material.
That's a huge time saver for academic or market researchers. And you mentioned a fascinating audio overview feature.
Yes. NotebookLM can take your pile of source material and generate an audio overview. It uses conversational AI voices to explain and highlight the key ideas and arguments. It essentially turns your deep research into a personalized, searchable podcast that you can listen to while you're commuting or exercising. It provides immediate verbal access to the core data. And importantly, it's currently free for individual users.
Shifting gears to the workspace platforms, we have Notion AI, which leverages its built-in organizational power.
Notion AI excels because the AI features are fully integrated right into the existing digital workspace. The AI isn't just taking notes, it's managing the workflow itself, which eliminates context switching. If you paste a raw meeting transcript into a Notion page, you can ask the AI to summarize it, pull out all the decisions and next steps, and then automatically populate those details into your existing team database fields, assignees, due dates, project status, all without ever leaving the application.
That seamless management of manual grunt work is the true strength there.
Absolutely. It handles tasks like fixing the tone of a document, translating content for global teams, or generating comprehensive project status updates based on task completion rates automatically. The drag-and-drop interface maintains that organizational ease.
But there are some caveats.
There are. First, the AI features are an additional cost on top of Notion's premium plans. Second, the build your setup trap is notoriously real. It can become overly complex for users just seeking simple note-taking. And while its integration with Google Drive lets you preview linked content, its offline capabilities remain limited, which can be an issue for mobile professionals.
Finally, let's quickly touch on the two dominant ecosystem players, Microsoft and Apple.
Right. If you are already heavily invested in a specific technology ecosystem, the native apps have become really powerful AI sidekicks. Microsoft OneNote is ideal for collaboration, especially in education. It has the comprehensive class notebook feature and seamless integration across the whole Microsoft 365 suite. Its Copilot integration helps summarize long pages, rewrite messy notes, and instantly generate to-do lists from unstructured discussions.
And the handwriting recognition is a big deal.
Huge plus. Its AI-driven handwriting recognition makes even your handwritten notes fully searchable. The main caveat is their requirement of a Microsoft account for full feature access.
And for Apple users looking for that zero-friction native solution.
Apple Notes is the definitive choice if your devices run iOS, iPadOS, or macOS. It's free, and it leverages the latest Apple Intelligence on compatible devices, offering features like real-time transcription, instant summarization of key points, and sophisticated proofreading tools to refine clarity or tone. It just quietly integrates these AI capabilities, providing a reliable, seamless experience without requiring extra subscriptions as long as you stay within the Apple ecosystem.
Okay, this brings us to Section 3, which is where the rubber really meets the road, the productivity paradox. We have this incredible technology, all these powerful tools, but when we look at the actual documented user experience, the results are, well, they're complex and often contradictory.
It is the divergence between the subjective win, how users feel about their productivity, and the objective reality, how the work actually flows and how long it actually takes them.
Let's start with that powerful subjective win, the reduction of mental resistance. What are users universally reporting in online forums like Reddit?
This is a universal and powerful sentiment. AI profoundly reduces the cognitive friction, that mental drag or resistance, that stops us from starting complex, daunting tasks. Think of writing code from scratch, or outlining a massive report, or drafting a long email on a sensitive topic. Users report that they simply prompt the AI, it gets them 80% or 90% of the way there, and they can use their limited mental energy just correcting, editing, or refining that last 10%.
So the effort is reframed entirely. It's not about saving 20 minutes of typing, It's about saving the psychological willpower that's required to even start the thing in the first place.
Precisely. That saved willpower is often cited as the true 10x productivity burst. One user, discussing the impact, said they achieved wizard status simply by offloading mundane drafting tasks. We even see this utility outside of traditional desk work. An electrician shared how AI helps them refresh arcane electrical code references or explore future job scenarios instantly, accelerating the preparation time from hours down to just minutes.
And there's a fascinating element of emotional protection here, too, isn't there?
Absolutely. AI is functioning as an emotional buffer. Users report delegating the drafting of responses to toxic or draining interactions, say, responding to a highly aggressive client email, or managing some bureaucratic tangle. They just give it to the AI. The machine handles the initial painful drafting, and that preserves the user's emotional energy for higher leverage strategic work. This protection against emotional fatigue is a huge, often unquantified driver of sustained productivity.
The subjective win is crystal clear. Users feel faster, less grained, and more able to focus on high-value strategy. Now, let's address the cold shower, the objective reality. How does this subjective feeling contrast with the objective data? This is the core of the paradox. A study conducted on experienced developers using powerful AI coding tools found a shocking result. While the developers perceived that they were 24% faster using tools like Copilot X or Claude Code, they were actually measured to be about 20% slower on average for the studied tasks.
That is a near-perfect inversion of the user's feeling. How is that even possible? If the AI is doing the bulk of the grafting, where is all that time being spent?
The effort shifts entirely. The developers aren't spending time on execution, typing the boilerplate code or the full draft, but they're spending a lot of time on the new, higher cognitive load requirements: setup, oversight, editing, and rigorous decision-making. One developer accurately described this as the babysitting requirement.
So the mental resistance to starting is gone, but it's replaced by the mental friction of intense oversight. Exactly. The AI, despite its sophistication, generates complex output that has to be scrutinized. It can introduce subtle logical flaws, misalignments with existing semantic frameworks, or just outright hallucinations, factual errors, or circular logic that take significant time and effort to debug. And often, that debugging process takes longer than it would have taken to simply write the correct, clean code manually from the start.
Which means the belief that you're doing less work overall has been replaced by the reality that the type of effort is shifting, often to more frustrating error-checking labor.
Precisely. Productivity is reframed. It's no longer about doing more total units of work, but about thinking less about logistics and protecting one's cognitive depth. This strategic shift is why many users are adopting what they call the AI sandwich approach.
Okay, tell us more about the AI sandwich. What is that?
It's a deliberate, intentional strategy. So step one, you prompt the AI for initial ideas, structure, or boilerplate code to overcome that initial mental resistance. Step two, the meat. You manually write the core, complex, high-stakes logic yourself to maintain control, ensure semantic alignment with existing team frameworks, and guarantee quality. Then step three, you use the AI again for the routine stuff, generating tests, code review, drafting introductory paragraphs, or formatting.
So it becomes a partner?
A critical partner that handles the routine start and end, allowing the human to focus on the strategic middle.
That intentionality is the key differentiator between feeling like a wizard and feeling like a babysitter.
It is. As many users stress, AI only provides a real productivity win when you use it intentionally for outlining, drafting, or summarizing. Trying to force the AI into every single step of a novel, complex, or high-stakes process often results in that slowdown effect.
And we have to acknowledge the immediate, tangible, negative societal implications of this shift, particularly in the creative industries.
Absolutely. The mass availability of high-quality generative AI has created displacement and, crucially, a devaluation of labor in certain fields. The freelance illustration and design markets are a clear, well-documented example. Clients can now generate complex mock-ups and concepts themselves, immediately eliminating the need to hire a human artist for that conceptual phase.
But the problem doesn't stop with displacement. It creates new friction for the remaining human workers.
It does. Users report that clients often return to human artists with complex, rejected mock-ups, which the community now refers to as AI slop, that are functionally flawed, geometrically confusing, or stylistically inconsistent. The human artist is then paid not for creative labor, but for the complex, frustrating, and tedious work of debugging and redrawing a flawed AI-generated concept.
So the core creative value is gone. The human work is shifted to low-value remediation.
Right. The AI creates a perceived value for the client. They get a concept instantly, but it offloads a complex, frustrating rework onto the human professional, driving down their wages and the overall value of their time. This requires deep critical thinking about how we ethically integrate these tools.
Which brings us to our next section. We have to transition from the human cost of oversight to the new financial cost of intelligence. The performance and functionality of all these sidekicks, whether they're summarizing your documents or drafting your code, they rely entirely on the massive models they connect to. And here, we're witnessing a genuine architectural revolution in the economics of intelligence.
This is the narrative bridge we need. If oversight is the new time cost, we need to understand the new financial cost. And the technical breakthrough that's driving down the price of this level of intelligence is a huge deal.
What is it?
We're talking about a breakthrough architectural change known as the mixture of experts MoE architecture, and it's exemplified by models like DeepSeek v3.2. This is the secret to why advanced intelligence is becoming dramatically cheaper.
Okay, let's dive into the core concept of MoE. How does it work?
So the standard, older, large language model like earlier generations of GPT is called a dense model. If that model had, say, 671 billion parameters, which is the size of DeepSeek v3.2, all those parameters would be activated and utilized for every single task the model performs.
Whether it's a simple or a complex task.
Doesn't matter. Whether it's translating a simple sentence or solving a complex differential equation, this makes the model incredibly resource-intensive. It requires immense computing power, which translates directly to high inference costs for you, the user.
And MoE dramatically changes that resource usage through sparsity, right?
Correct. The MoE architecture achieves sparsity. The total size, 671 billion parameters, is immense, but it's distributed among numerous specialized expert networks. Each expert network is a small, specialized LLM that's been trained intensively on a single domain.
It's like having a team of specialists instead of one generalist.
Perfect analogy. One might be dedicated entirely to mathematical reasoning, another to code generation, another to nuanced narrative writing.
So when a user submits a prompt, the system doesn't activate all 671 billion parameters.
And no, that's the genius of MoE. A routing system analyzes the prompt and sends the input tokens only to the relevant subset of experts. For any given task, only a small fraction of the total parameters, often less than 5%, is activated. This allows the model to achieve expert-level performance in specialized domains without the massive computational requirement of running the entire gargantuan model every single time.
That architectural efficiency must translate directly into a massive cost breakthrough.
It absolutely does. This efficiency and sparsity results in a verifiable 10 to 25x cost advantage over closed, traditional dense alternatives like GPT-5 and Gemini 3 Pro. The upfront investment difference is staggering, too. DeepSeek trained its V3 model for approximately $5.5 million. Compare that to the reported training costs that exceed $100 million for foundational dense models like GPT-4.
That cost difference is so huge, it fundamentally changes the financial pressure on model development. It allows for rapid iteration and makes advanced intelligence accessible to more players, which in turn drives down prices globally.
Exactly. And this cost reduction comes with a specific performance profile. DeepSeek v3.2, for instance, is highly specialized in technical reasoning. To give some context to the benchmarks, AM and HMMT are advanced high school and collegiate math competitions. DeepSeek achieves 96% on AM and 99.2% on HMMT, showing exceptional mathematical correctness, often exceeding general-purpose models in these specific areas. For coding, it achieves 70.2% on SWE multilingual, which is also a substantial lead over its competitors.
That specific performance profile is so crucial for you listening. If you are using an AI sidekick for high-stakes technical work like code refactoring or engineering documentation, you should strategically prioritize a tool that leverages these technical reasoning MoE models.
The cost difference makes the strategic model choice a business requirement. For specific cache-heavy workloads like continuous integration pipelines or applications that repeatedly process similar contexts, the API pricing for DeepSeek offers a dramatic 31x cost advantage over current market leaders. This financial reality makes previously impractical, high-volume AI use cases suddenly affordable and profitable.
So let's use this economic foundation to look ahead. What does this massive cost reduction and architectural efficiency imply for the AI sidekick market between, say, 2026 and 2030?
We're looking at a market that's projected to reach $11.32 billion by 2030, and the key trend is the move toward increasingly agentic systems.
So less of a static tool and more of a proactive doer.
Exactly. The future assistant won't just wait for your prompt or summarize a single meeting. It will be able to manage long-running, complex workflows autonomously. Imagine telling your sidekick, migrate this entire legacy code base from Python 2 to Python 3, write all the unit tests, and send me a daily status report.
Wow.
Or, for the researcher, analyze the last 3 years of market reports, find all conflicting data points regarding Q4 projections, and draft a memo outlining the strategic risk. These tools will perform deep analysis projects that take hours or days, not seconds.
And the output won't just be confined to simple text either.
Correct. We anticipate tools will automatically convert one core piece of content, a single meeting recording, into an endless stream of required deliverables. An internal blog post, a social media thread, an email sequence to clients, or a detailed executive summary, all orchestrated without constant human prompting.
And the input is rapidly going multimodal.
Multimodal input is the next frontier. Note-taking will go far beyond just voice and text. We fully anticipate support for analyzing handwriting and diagrams, allowing the AI to automatically transcribe complex flowcharts or sketches drawn on a tablet and logically link them to your text notes. The ability to analyze integrated images and video content within a document will also become a core input capability, turning any piece of media into a searchable knowledge source.
Okay, so synthesizing everything we've discussed, the paradox, the cost reduction, the specialized performance, what is the new mandate for professionals who are choosing their tools?
The new mandate is prioritizing model choice. Given the stark performance differences in specialized domains and the cost advantages of MOE, professionals have to choose tools that offer multi-model flexibility. You might use a tool leveraging DeepSeek v3.2 for highly technical, cost-effective math and coding synthesis, where correctness is paramount, and then you'll switch to an agent powered by Claude 4.5 or GPT-5 for high-quality narrative writing or client-facing communications, where tone, nuance, and fluency are the primary drivers of success.
The valuable skill is no longer discovery, but discernment.
Precisely. Discernment and strategic orchestration. And finally, we have to close this section by reiterating the critical risks that users must remain vigilant about, even with the best technology.
The non-negotiables, privacy and compliance.
The necessity of vigilance here cannot be overstated. The legality of these tools hinges entirely on explicit consent and compliance with regulations like GDPR and CCPA. Users have to be fully transparent about recordings and secure agreement from all participants. Secondly, there is the risk of trust. Since many tools rely on storing sensitive conversations on third-party cloud servers, data handling claims that data is securely encrypted, that it's not used for model training, must be scrutinized. Ideally, these claims should be backed by independent, verifiable security audits, which are often unavailable.
And if that transparency isn't there, especially regarding data retention policies, the tool becomes a major liability in regulated industries.
And finally, accuracy. All summarizers, even those running on the most advanced frontier models, make mistakes, particularly with specialized jargon, subtle nuances, or just poorly transcribed audio. The user must maintain active thinking. You cannot become passive in the face of AI-generated content. You have to use the integrated source links and timestamps to spot-check nuanced or high-stakes claims.
Okay, that brings us to our final takeaways from this deep dive into the AI sidekick revolution. We've covered a massive amount of ground, from the intricate architecture of diarization all the way to the surprising psychological benefits of reducing mental friction.
The first key takeaway is really recognizing that strategic distinction in the marketplace. You have to know what you are buying for your specific need. Are you optimizing for live conversations and collaboration with meeting assistants like Lindy, Fireflies, or Fathom?
Right.
Or are you prioritizing post-facto knowledge synthesis and research with learning assistants like NoteGPT or NotebookLM? Choosing the wrong category will just lead to immediate frustration.
And within that collaboration space, the necessity of speaker diarization, knowing who said what, is no longer a bonus feature. It is absolutely fundamental for compliance, legal attribution, and just maintaining functional team workflows.
Absolutely. But perhaps the most surprising and profound finding from the user communities is that productivity paradox. The true productivity gain is often not the raw time saved on the clock, because the time spent editing, debugging, and providing oversight can sometimes negate that, but the reduction of mental resistance. Using AI to handle the tedious boilerplate frees up your limited cognitive capacity for the high-leverage, strategic, human-centric work that only you can truly perform.
So if the economic shift means that cutting-edge intelligence like DeepSeek v3.2's mathematical reasoning and deep code synthesis is now 10 to 25 times cheaper and is increasingly becoming open source, what does this seismic change mean for the future value of a professional?
I think the future value of a professional will no longer reside in knowing how to take notes, or even knowing how to manually execute every single step of a task. It will be in knowing how to orchestrate the specific, specialized AI agents that best align with their highly specific technical, cost, and ethical requirements. The core skill is no longer merely discovery of information, but the discernment and intentional management of the synthetic intelligence that's performing the execution.
Determined intentionality, and strategic orchestration. That's a powerful new job description for the modern professional.
Indeed, it is.
So our closing thought for you, the listener, as you review your own workflow this week, consider which of your current mental resistance tasks, that email you are dreading, the report outline you keep putting off, or the long document you simply haven't had the willpower to read. Which one of those you should delegate to an AI sidekick? Try to move the effort from execution to oversight and just observe what high-leverage strategic task you can finally focus on instead.